I'm Lita Leapins.
And I'm Jim Gordon.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Here at a place we film at quite often throughout the year, Hydra Restaurant in the Exchange Hotel. Glad you were joining us.
Right here in the Cabana Room.
That's right. Lots to get through in this next episode, so we'll get right to the show. This wine moment is brought to you by Fontana Fredda, producers of Barolo and other great wines since 1858. Well, we're back here at Aqua Farina for the first time since last spring. A great restaurant located right in the Homer Street, Georgia Street area, downtown Vancouver. As you saw off the top, another wine segment. Italy is the focus. We'll get into the specific region. Joined right now by Fabio Bosio. He is the export manager from Fontana Fredda, and he joins us now to talk about some great wines. During at the time we're filming this, it's the beginning of Barolo Weeks, plural, you said.
Correct.
Well, welcome. We'll get into that in a few seconds. First of all, as we often do with Italian wine segments, this winery is breathtakingly beautiful to look at. We're looking at some images right now. Talk to us about the spectacular, rich, deep history of this winery and the area and the history and the village that's a part of it. We'll start with that.
Yeah, Fontana Fredda is one of the most historical winery from Italy and from Piemonte. Actually, our winery is located in Serra Lunga d'Alba, which is one of the 11 villages where the Barolo area is. It's the winery founded by the very first king of Italy, Vittorio Emanuele II, and it was dated back in 1858. So we can easily say that Fontana Fredda is not only a winery, it is much more a love story.
Right.
Because the king fell in love with this lady called Rosa Vercellana, and together they founded the winery.
Let's talk about the wines. We'll touch with some history as we move along. You've got a great selection. We should mention all the wines we're going to talk about today. You're proud to say available here in Vancouver, Canada, and of course in this restaurant. Let's talk about this first wine featuring in this segment.
Yeah, Piemonte is generally known for red wine, and we will discover that, of course, Fontana Fredda is a Barolo producer focused on Barolo, but the white side of Piemonte is growing fast, and in fact, what we are tasting now, what we are talking right now is a Timorasso, which is linked to Barolo because it is known as the white Barolo. So Timorasso is an indigenous grape variety growing in the area of Tortona, which is 100 kilometers away from Barolo area, and it has some very interesting characteristic and something which is not normal to find in a white wine from Italy. In fact, it has a lot of structure and body, together with a lot of citric and lemony notes at the beginning. But what makes this wine special is the fact that it is a white wine that can age properly for 10, 15 or 20 years. So the evolution of this wine in the bottle is something linked to the Barolo.
As we always like to do, and we'll do this with all the wines here today, can you pair that with a nice meal? What would this go well with?
If I have to pick one, I would say oysters. Why not? Or in general, all the seafood, but like a little bit more big in terms of structure and body, because this wine, you will discover, it is a full body white wine. So I would say like a grilled salmon can be a nice pair as well.
Okay, let's talk about the next wine. You take it from there, Fabio.
So this is probably the most versatile wine that we make, the most approachable wine that we make as well. So the appellation is Piemonte, but the grape variety is Barbera. So in this case, we are able to source grapes from different terroirs around the Piemonte region, and that gave us the possibility to make a more soft and easy drinking Barbera. Barbera is known to be a very fresh, fruity wine, together with a medium body and a good acidity. So in this case, our idea and our aim is to make a wine that goes well with different kind of food and that you can enjoy in different situations. So it is not a wine for specialists, but
Right.
it is a wine for a lot of different kind of palate. So different level. So I truly believe that Barbera is the first step to better understand the wines from Piemonte. On top of that, it is a wine that you can enjoy with pizza, with pasta, so with different kind of meals.
Okay, Fabio, we're up to the last two wines, which we're going to talk Barolo now, and you've got two to talk about. Tell us about this first one.
So Barolo is known as the king of the wine or the wine of the king. And this is also thanks to our owner, the first owner, which was the first king of Italy, Vittorio Emanuele II. Barolo, it is nowadays sold all over the world, and Canada is of course one of those countries. For us is one of the most important countries.
Okay.
So thank you,
Oh,
thank you for
that's
helping
great
us.
to hear. Okay.
And talking about this Barolo specifically, it is a classic Barolo. So we cannot mention the word classico or classic on, but actually what historically happened is that to make Barolo, we had to blend together different grapes growing in different villages within the Barolo area. So there are 11 villages where we can grow Nebbiolo, which is the grape variety that we use to make Barolo. And what we do here is blending together in order to give an expression of the territory, of the terroir of the Barolo. Then there are different shades with different terroir and different exposure, but we will talking about it later. So when I say classico, it is because back in the days we used to make, and everyone used to make only one label, the Barolo, because the appellation is still Barolo. So in this case, this is a 2021 vintage, which is one of the most successful vintages recently done. And it shows a lot of fresh aromas at the nose, a little bit of like hint of mint as well. In the mouth, it is of course a big body wine, but with a very well elegance.
Okay, one more Barolo, and oh my goodness, we've got it open. I cannot wait to try it. Tell us, Fabio, about this last wine.
So the last Barolo is a Barolo Serralunga d'Alba, vintage 2019. This is the Barolo dedicated to the village of Serralunga d'Alba, where our winery is located. So technically it's a selection of grapes. Most of the grapes are coming from our estate, which is named after the winery, so Fontana Fredda,
Right.
which is a cru. And then we have some other grapes coming from the highest part of Serralunga d'Alba. Serralunga d'Alba is considered to be one of the most important village in Barolo to make important and structured wine. 2019 is, from my point of view, one of the best vintage in the last decade because of the structure, the body, but at the same time you have the finesse and the drinkability. This is a wine that needs a little bit more important dishes. Definitely I will go for a meat. Definitely a meat medium rare, not too cooked.
Yeah.
And on top of that, my personal choice is blue cheeses.
Okay.
So I like to have a glass of Barolo with an important blue cheese.
We just talked about food. Of course, we're looking at some footage right now of you talking to me and a bunch of other people at this dinner here at Acquafarina that took place. What are you hoping to convey to everybody at that dinner? What was your goal? Obviously, get them to sample and experience the great wines we've just talked about. But you want to obviously create more of a buzz. I mean, Canada's a big market for you guys. What was the goal?
So Canada is, since 2 years now, our biggest market, especially when it comes to Barolo. Which is, as I say, our flagship wine, and Barolo Serralunga, it is our flagship Barolo, the most important that we make. So the aim for tonight's dinner is to have a good audience and to enjoy a good glass of wine, no more.
Okay, we should also mention too, I've mentioned a number of times the beauty of your winery, the village, the history there, but this is also a great destination vacation place.
Exactly. Fontana Fredda is not only a winery, of course, we are a winery, but it is much more. We do have 3 hotels, 2, let's say, business hotels and one niche boutique little spa hotel on top of the hill. And we do have 3 restaurants, and one of them is a Michelin star restaurant named Guido.
Wow. Look it up, folks. We're looking at footage, but I tell you, this place is pretty spectacular. As is the wine. Okay, this is the moment I have been waiting for. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us, and thanks to everybody for watching this great segment on Fontana Fredda. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, we're going to finish the bottle after this. Fabio, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I've got the show last month at the end of the summer. We had Jack Scarlett on our show, one of the hosts of the very popular Everything Electric show on YouTube. Well, now we're down at the Everything Electric Vancouver show. It's a 3-day show here at the Vancouver Convention Center. A lot going on here. We want to get right to some of the people we talked to. Let's go take a look. Joined now by Carlos, part of the Everything Electric team. What's interesting about what you guys do is it's cart horse. I mean, you've got the highly rated show, but you also have the company. Explain how that, as I said, cart horse, how did that all come together?
Yeah, look, from our side, working with Robert Llewellyn, obviously our founder, I think his concept was how do you kind of bring a digital audience into a live environment? And I think it was a sort of brainchild of our CEO, Dan Caesar, to put that together. And we first ran that, that's been coming on for nearly 15 years now in terms of where the whole concept came together. And then from 2008, when we ran our first live show. And you see the fruits of our labor here today in Vancouver.
You talk about the people that are here. I mean, I was saying to Jack in our interview last month that every year in Vancouver anyway, the crowds have gotten bigger and bigger. Clearly there's a much bigger interest, let's say, than there was a decade ago when you were at these shows.
Yeah, 100%. Look, the industry has really grown. And I think for us, we're not just about the car. It's about broadening the whole thing from home energy to micromobility to commercial vehicles. We've got about 14 verticals that sit in our show. We've got boats upstairs, jet skis. And I think bringing all that together, someone is on that journey to electrification at different points. And that could be early mainstream or now what we classify as more mainstream. So how do we talk to them at different stages of that?
And we're standing right in front of a charging station. Do you find that, and this is something that Jack alluded to, is that range and recharging anxiety. Is it a challenge to get people past that impression, let's say?
Yeah, look, fighting myth busting is what we do every single day. Look at BC, BC Hydro, 600 plus chargers available, fast, rapid chargers available. For me, I've been driving an electric car for 5 years. I don't have any range anxiety. My wife loves it. The fact that she doesn't have to go to a gas station anymore and just plugs in at home obviously makes it really easy. We're seeing cars now have got a bigger and bigger range capacity, to do much longer journeys, doing drives that are 400-500 kilometers with one stop in it, if that, is fully capable now.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure, thank you.
Well, an old familiar media friend of ours, Kyle, who is now with BC Hydro. Kyle, it's good to have you with us. We're in the BC Hydro area right here on the upper level of this great event. What I wanted to ask you is that you're one of the main partners with the Everything Electric show. Talk about your partnership with them, because we all know where this is going future-wise in terms of electric.
Right, yeah, Everything Electric. This is the third year that we've had Everything Electric here at the Vancouver Convention Center. It's a really great partnership that we've been able to do with BC Hydro as the clean energy provider here in British Columbia. 98% of the electricity that we generate comes from clean or renewable resources, most of that being our hydroelectric facilities.
Sure.
So it really is a nice opportunity for us to be here to talk with not only customers, but also to talk with some of the vendors in the world of electric vehicles or heat pumps or solar panels. So customers can come here and learn about the options they have to try and reduce their use on fossil fuels and to make that switch to clean electricity.
I don't know if there's a definitive answer for this, but your wonderful area here, is there what number one question that people are asking your colleagues here?
The number one question is probably, what can I do to save money on my home energy bills, right? And so we have this booth behind us, which they've done a great job of putting together.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Looks pretty good, eh? Yeah. But this booth is where we have our Ask an Energy experts. So BC Hydro staff are working here throughout the weekend, and they're able to pull up your BC Hydro account, and they can kind of analyze your energy usage. You can talk to them about what could work for you in your own home. Do I need to get a heat pump? Should I make the switch to an electric vehicle? Will that impact my electricity rate? That kind of thing. And they can run scenarios here, and they can help you really understand, the tools and the technology that's available to every British Columbian for the most part.
Kyle, I think I know what I'm doing right after this interview. My account will be pulled up. Kyle, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Your account's flagged probably, I'm sure, Jim.
Probably,
right? Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Oh, you'll probably recognize this guy. He was on our show last month. Now we get to Jack Scarlett, not on Zoom, but in person here at the Everything Electric show. Jack, welcome to Vancouver.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You bet, sir. We just watched you do a presentation. Give our viewers a sense of the vibe, the feeling in this room and downstairs.
Positivity is the overarching one of these shows. You know, for those of us who evangelize electric vehicles, it can feel like banging your head against a wall sometimes. And, the kind of transition to electric is in a slightly sticky place in Canada at this moment in time.
Yeah,
it's not going to be plain sailing, and it's not happening in a linear way. That's become apparent. So it's really validating just to be in a hall full of people who are either already into it or are curious about it and interested in learning more. And that's what we have here. So yeah, these shows are an open goal when times are good and everyone's buying EVs and business is booming. But actually, times like now where there's nuance and complexity, this is when these shows are most important, I think.
You mentioned in our interview last month about that you get the EV driver, that's safe mostly downstairs where we were and watching you do a presentation. Then you get up here and there's everything else. It's interesting. Talk about the feeling up here. Are you seeing a lot of people that maybe are EV drivers that are looking for the solar paneling you said, or you mentioned to us earlier, candles. It's all upstairs.
Yeah, the candles are a separate issue, but they are very fragrant.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles are a gateway drug. You buy this vehicle that has a giant battery pack, and then you kind of realize all the other things that you could potentially do with it. Well, actually, if I put some solar on the roof, I could charge it for free. I could drive for free. If I fitted a big home battery, then I could do all sorts of clever things where I could discharge the energy from my car into my home battery and then run my house super cheap when I need to. So yeah, it is a gateway drug, and it's an ecosystem. And I think once people have one electric toy, they're interested in the next one. Outside we've got e-scooters and electric unicycles, and I highly recommend a little zip around on the unicycle.
Oh, I can do that. I'm the only one in
later.
a jacket and tie, so I should definitely do that. Your show is so popular worldwide. Is there a number one question that people have been asking you here at this show? I mean, we're here opening day. You're here for 3 days.
So I think the buzzword so far this morning is China and Chinese electric cars. People want to know what are they like, because we have them in Europe. We have them available in our market. The first thing we did this morning on stage is we took a sort of a survey by show of hands. Who among you would be interested in having Chinese EVs on sale in Canada? And I would put it around 3/4 of people put their hands up. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's going to get a lot of play on stage this weekend, is that discussion around, is Canada hamstringing itself and delaying this transition by not having the full flight of vehicles available to consumers?
I told you, out of all of your shows that I've watched, that Lee Mega, I should say, was the most impressive vehicle in all your shows I've done. So, hey, listen, we won't keep it much longer. You're probably not getting a chance to see anything in Vancouver. Not that you can with the smoke outside, but you're where next? Sydney?
Melbourne in November. Yes, that's the next show.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
You bet.
Hey, don't forget to check out our brand new website at ourcitytonighttv.com. Thanks for watching.
Well, I'm here at the offices of our partners at the Richmond Sentinel. If you caught our interview last month with Grace Hayden, she's one of the shining personalities and TV presenters on Willow TV. Now, we introduced you to Willow TV as well. It's one of the premier destinations for cricket in North America. Well, we talked to Grace, who's in front of the camera and in front of the microphone. Now we're going to go behind the camera and talk to their COO. It's another segment sponsored by our friends here at the Richmond Sentinel. And now joining us is the COO of Willow TV, and I will also add a multi-Emmy winner in the world of sports. Joining us, we want to welcome Todd Myers. Hello, Todd.
Jim, wonderful to see you. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Great to have you. As I mentioned to our viewers, we introduced our viewers here in Canada to Willow TV not long ago with Grace Hayden, one of your stars on Willow. Now we're talking to a guy who's behind the scenes. You have a long, extensive history in sports, including a 16-year stint with the iconic ESPN. What was it that drew you to Willow TV, which I think you've been with them since 2019?
Right, yeah, so a little over 6 years, and it's crazy everything that's happened at Willow and in the world in 6 years. I mean, it's, again, nuts that COVID was, about 5 years ago. We're kind of past that. I know it still exists in the world, but, when the world shut down, I was only like a year into Willow. So that was a pretty big hurdle for us to overcome. But, really the sport of cricket is what drew me to Willow. So back when I worked at ESPN, I had an opportunity to work on a myriad of different sports. And, one day, my boss just said to me, hey, what do you really know about cricket? And my answer was really not much, right? I mean, we had done some deals and put some shows on and then some matches on and they were successful. And he said, hey, congratulations, you're in charge of all the cricket acquisitions for the company. Like, no pressure, right? So I got to, learn about, cricket a lot. And, every morning it was part of my daily routine of reading Crick Buzz, ESPN Crick Info, any other articles I could get on the sport of cricket, and really fell in love with the sport. And the opportunity came about when I was living in Orlando, working for the ESPN Wide World of Sports down there, the huge sports complex. And the owners of Willow at the time said, hey, we're looking to launch a professional cricket league in the US, and hey, we just can't do both. Run a network and launch a professional league. Would you consider coming work for us? And I said yes, and here we are six and a half years later.
Yeah, and I'm sure like me, you and a lot of other people digest a lot of the North American big sports, hockey, basketball, football, baseball. But what I see in our country is the expansion of a lot more sports. I'm a very big British football or soccer fan, but I'm seeing how big MLS is becoming. I'm seeing how big rugby is becoming. So there are billions, and I said this in my interview with Grace not long ago, there are billions of fans of this sport, and it's growing hugely in North America.
For sure. I wish we could get like the billion people from India to move to North America and make my job a lot easier. So be a lot more a fish in a barrel versus now I'm trying to fish in a lake to get people to watch cricket. But your point, it's grown a ton. And even just in mine, I've been involved in cricket for about 15 years now between ESPN and Willow. But it's looking at even the last 5 or 6 years, it's remarkable how much it's grown. And some of that has been, I think, to the changing demographics of both countries, Canada and the US. I mean, there's a lot more immigration that's been happening over the years from India to both countries. And not to get into politics, but I think Canada has become more attractive due to some of the political, ideology that's happening in the United States. So you just have a much more diversified population. And one of the sports that they love is cricket.
Yeah, and I think that something I've noticed that baseball in North America has been trying to address over the last few years is length of the games. They realize they're losing people because of those lengths. I mentioned this to Grace Hayden in our previous interview that one of the things I noticed that cricket started a while back was making it more TV friendly.
For sure. So the T20 format, which is probably 20 years old now, was really revolutionary at the time. And you can imagine there were, old school folks who are like, this will never work, this will never catch on. And lo and behold, it's the most popular format of the game. Test cricket is still very popular. It's just a massive series between India and England that ended about maybe 10 days ago or so. Huge series, tons of eyeballs around the globe. But from a day in, day out perspective, it is the T20 format. Or, there's also the T10 format, which is gaining more traction. I know there's a new league that's launching up in Canada, the Super 60. So whether you call it T10 or 60s, like that's also getting a spot. So it will be interesting if the International Cricket Council ever creates a world championship for the T10 format. Again, I'm sure there's people today be like, we can't possibly go below T20 and crown the champion, but it probably will happen. It's just a matter of when.
Last question for you, a basic one, Todd, for our viewers. I know the answer to this, but many may not. Why Willow? Meaning behind the name.
Yeah, well, we are truly North America's home for cricket. So every major event that you can potentially think of, Willow has the rights to carry. So whether it's the Indian Premier League, ICC World Championships, I mentioned, the India home team, England, Australia, Major League Cricket, Team USA, Team Canada, which, by the way, congrats, they qualified for the 2026 ICC T20 World Cup. So that hopefully will give another boost to cricket in the country, especially if they can do what USA did against Pakistan last year and actually wind up qualifying for the next round. If Canada could do that, again, be another big boost for the sport there. But I mean, we are kind of your one-stop shop, and in this era of just fragmentation of sports rights, I mean, I understand I'm biased because I'm the CEO of Willow, so somewhat rose-colored glasses here, but you only need one subscription, and you can watch everything you want to watch. If you are an NBA or NFL fan, you have to have Amazon, Netflix, you have to have over-the-air, and then you have to have cable because, hey, it's Netflix, Amazon, ESPN, and over-the-air networks. So you need 4 different directions to watch. For cricket, it's just one. Sign up for Willow, and we have, I mean, there's 365 days in the year. I think we probably have live cricket about 360 of those. There's probably about 5 days a year where we don't have a live cricket match.
Yeah, that was the thing that really struck me when I first went to your website, is you do have a lot of leagues on there. Todd, thank you very much for joining us. Look for willow.tv, and we should mention available with all the Canadian service providers here in our country. Willow TV said willow.tv. We've been talking to the COO, Todd Myers. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, we're back where we started the show at Hydra Restaurant in their Cabana room.
Folks, don't forget you can contact us with story ideas or comments on our website. It's info@ourcitytonighttv.com.
Oh, www.
Yes, I left that out. I'm sorry, yes. But anyway, that's it for the show. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
You can contact us and watch past episodes at ourcitytonighttv.com. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.